Michael Bay with a brand new action film. That's really all I need to get me sold on this movie. Ambulance is a brand new 2022 action thriller directed by Michael Bay, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, and Isa Gonzalez. And I was actually very interested in this movie. I do enjoy a good Michael Bay film, as long as it's not Pearl Harbor or really any of the Transformers sequels aside from the third one. I'm there. And I was very interested in seeing this one, so let's go ahead and get started. Starting off with the good, and for me, there's a lot to love in this movie. First of all, both of the main stars, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Jake Gyllenhaal, both absolutely terrific in this movie. They play brothers in this movie, and they go on a heist that goes wrong, and hence the title, they steal an ambulance to get away, and it's a 2.5 hour chase in an ambulance, and it's actually a whole lot of fun. First of all, with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, he's the more laid-back one. He's the ex-military one, has a family, tries to go straight, struggling with financials, so he turns to Jake Gyllenhaal for money, and where the plot takes off. And Yahya Abdul-Mateen II does an absolutely amazing job. He's becoming one of my favorite actors of all time. Between this, Trial of the Chicago 7, Candyman, Aquaman, The Greatest Showman, he's just great in everything I see him in. I still have not seen the Watchmen series from HBO, but I still own it on Blu-ray. I just have not watched it yet. But he does great in everything. He gives a very, very emotional performance in some scenes, and the way he handles a lot of situations is very interesting and well acted by him. And then you have Jake Gyllenhaal, who is basically the polar opposite. He's more unhinged. He doesn't really have a family aside from Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. He's still a criminal, and he owns that, and he does a great job as well. He really captures the whole unhinged aspect of the character that he portrays in this film. And Jake Gyllenhaal's another personal favorite actor of mine, even though they handled Mysterio very poorly in Far From Home, which I have already talked about, so I will not dwell on that in this video. But Jake Gyllenhaal does an absolutely amazing job, and I love the chemistry that the two of them share together in this film, with bonding between them and the eventual fallout that happens near the end of the movie. And then you have Isa Gonzalez as the paramedic that they take hostage, and she does a great job as well. And then you also have Keira O'Donnell, who I actually liked in this movie. And it's always nice to see him show up. I don't see him in a lot of things. I think the last thing I remember seeing him in was Paul Blart Mall Cop. He has most likely had stuff between then and now, but I just haven't seen him in it. So it was real nice to see him show up in this movie, and I enjoyed his presence throughout the film. And then you get onto the story, and I've already said it, but it really is a very interesting story. It's really nothing I've ever seen before, and it's not fully original. It's your typical Michael Bay thriller, but I still really enjoyed the whole aspect of stealing an ambulance to escape from a heist. I thought that was an interesting touch to the typical heist plot of a film. And the action sequences were actually really good, and I really love the camera work in this movie, especially those overhead shots shot on the drones. They are absolutely beautiful and very revolutionary. I really hope we get more drone shots like that in future action films. And then you have the case of the CGI in this movie, where Michael Bay has criticized the visual effects team from this movie and said that the CGI is not as good in this movie. I honestly don't know what cut of the movie he saw. I didn't see really unfinished or shoddy CGI in this movie. I honestly don't know what was supposed to be CGI. It was all really, really good. And then I really like the tension of the story and the building of suspense on what's going to happen to these characters. And there's a lot of situations throughout the movie where I was like, okay, there's no way to get out of this one. And they continue to get out of it somehow. And I just really enjoyed that aspect of this film. And then finally, I really like the soundtrack to this film. I really like it. And that's about it for the good. And for the bad, I really only have one thing, and that's the runtime of this movie. And I don't mind a long movie, but when a movie feels like it wraps up a half hour before it actually does, and they tack on another half hour just for runtime, it kind of lost me there. Because there was a part in the movie where it seemed like it could just wrap up real nice and end, but they added another 30 minutes and it just really wasn't for me because, like I said, the ending is good, but I don't think we need that extra 30 minutes. That's about it for the bad here. Final thoughts, I really enjoyed Ambulance. It's your typical Michael Bay thriller, but I really enjoyed it. Ambulance was a really fun time. I will be buying it on Blu-ray and I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Ambulance. Have you seen this movie yet? Let me know down in the comments what you thought of it if you have. If you have not seen it, what's your favorite Michael Bay film? I would love to hear from you. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.